So I just want to show you a little setup that I've been running this season with my Stormchaser, because I've been really enjoying this linear this season. You get it from the new Duality dungeon. It's going to be based around the stasis subclass with Mask of Bakris. So what Mask of Bakris does, it makes your dodge sort of into like a stasis sort of shift, like a blink, and then on top of that, every time you dodge, you're going to do an extra 10% damage to all your arc weapons. Are going to do extra 10% damage, and then on top of that, you do an additional 10% extra damage if the enemies are slurred at the time. I'm going to be also getting Radiant, so that's a 25% damage buff, which is universal. So a nice 25% damage buff, plus the extra 10 or 20% from Bakris. And I'm also going to be running High Energy Fire, and Radiant stack. So basically, just by picking up one orb, we're going to get a 45% damage buff, plus the buff from Mask of Bakris, all working together nicely to give our arc weapons a massive damage buff, including Stormchaser, things like that, even Anarchy. So this is the sort of setup I'm running. Stay tuned. I'm going to do some sort of a bit of testing, if you want, on Carl, just to show you that these are all sort of working together nicely. I'll go more into the build at the end of the video, but here's some clips of me shooting Carl in his face. So what you're going to see now is just a standard shot, and then I'm going to dodge with my Bakris just to show you the damage increase from Bakris. So a standard shot with the Stormchaser is hitting for 28k. I've done my light shift, that's a 10%. That's it, it's for 31. So we've gone from 28 to 31, 10% damage increase just by dodging. It's an arc weapon, that's what the Bakris does, improves your arc damage. The next one you're going to see is my Radiant, and I've got High Energy Fire, 42k, all the way up to 46k with a light shift dodge. So just sort of showing that they all stack together. Radiant charge with like High Energy Fire, and the Bakris perk, so all the way from 28 to 46k. That's quite a hefty damage buff. And then now I've just sort of recorded a few clips of it all sort of working together to show it's not too hard to do. Get a couple of kills with a weapon to create your orb with the siphon mod on your helmet. Pick the orb up and then do your dodge, get your light shift going, and you should hopefully see some decentish numbers. I've been running it quite a bit, it always does pretty decent damage. If you fancy running something different than solar, this is probably one of the better setups you can do. And like I said, I've always sort of been a bit of a fan of stasis anyway. A lot of my friends know that I'm a bit of a stasis keener. I love it. But yeah, I'm going to leave the rest of the clips playing out. Let us know what you think. If you enjoyed it, stay tuned. Also, I'll show you the sort of full build at the end of the vid. So I'm going to leave a dim link now. This is the full build, but I will leave a dim link in the description so you don't have to listen to my trap. But I'll just explain what I'm doing. I am basically creating as many orbs as possible and becoming charged with light as much as possible to take advantage of our High Energy Fire, and also take full advantage of the Radiant Orbs buff, which is again easy 25% damage buff, becoming Radiant. So this is how I'm doing it. I'm running elemental shards. All the shards that I create turn to elemental wells. I'm also running elemental charge, so when I take them shards, they're going to make me chargeable light. That's also obviously going to make me have high energy fire going all of the time, which is another 20% damage buff. And I'm running charged up, so I become up to 3 times chargeable light rather than 2. And I'm also running taking charge, so all the orbs that I pick up also are going to contribute to making me chargeable light. So I've always got my high energy fire going, and I've always got my radiant buff going on a non-solar subclass. The other key one to sort of mention is Arc Siphon. I run the Arc Siphon mod, but you don't have to. You could just sort of match that your helmet to whatever sort of secondary or heavy you're running. Obviously I'm running arc weapons with Bakris, so I run Arc Siphon mod, so that creates plenty of orbs. So that's the sort of mod setup. With regards to the subclass, it's obviously stasis. These are quite important: Grim Harvest and Touch of Winter. Grim Harvest is the one you need to work with elemental shards, because whenever you defeat slowed or frozen combatants, they create shards. So picking them shards up is going to make you chargeable light, high energy fire from the elemental charge. Because of this mod here, elemental shards, stasis shards count as stasis elemental wells. So them two work pretty nicely together. Elemental shards, Grim Harvest. I run a Dustfield Grenade. I also run Whisper of Chains, Whisper of Fissures, Whisper of Refraction, Whisper of Jorans, and Whisper of Shards. The Whisper of Refraction, that is quite a good sort of fragment to run, because whenever your cooldown is on your Mask of Bakris and you slow or freeze targets and kill them, it's going to give you absolutely huge chunks of your class ability back. I've done a video on that, I can link it. So yeah, that's the fragments. And then I just wanted to say, just before I go, some of the clips that you saw, the damage could have been a lot higher as well. I don't have firing line, I only have frenzy on it, and frenzy procced only a couple of times in the clips, but everything stacks with whatever you've seen. So you'll, in a few of the clips I did get like 60 to 70k damage. That's everything working together with frenzy. Obviously if you've got a firing line one, this build and setup is going to absolutely do some crazy damage. So hopefully I can get a firing line one by farming the dungeon a little bit later on. But I hope the build's been good. Let me know what you think. Take it easy.